government is that if you were to get those individual names, you may try to do something to them, right? And so,
Have you ever heard of the right to
Mr.
face
J,
your accuser?
I listen to you, and so I'm just asking you to listen to me as well. You faced your accuser in that they appealed your claims and everything. If there's more damages or so that you're seeking, you need to put in a tort claim or so, right? And that's the only way that if you're looking for corrective actions or anything, have you spoken to the patient advocates about?
Yeah.
And did you put in a report?
Yes.
And what did they confirm with you once that report was placed?
They never got back to me. But I did get a letter from the director's office saying that my appeal was successful and that I didn't have to be on this thing anymore.
Yes, sir. But in that letter as well, did it tell you anything about the corrective actions for those employees?
No.
All right. In that letter, it should have stated that you would not be privy to any of those corrective actions. All right. As far as that, there was an issue between you and the CBOC staff, right? And it was reported.
Right.
Did you
Okay,
ever
I
file?
see what you're referring to. You're referring to that system, the apparatus that says that not to give their names.
No, sir.
That they can complain on me anonymously.
No, sir. That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, what is it?
So, in the sense that complaint was filed, that complaint had their names in it. When you appealed that decision,
I didn't have a complaint. I didn't have their names in it because no one ever gave me their
I
names.
understand that, sir.
I couldn't make a complaint. I want to make a complaint.
You did, though.
No,
that's
I
what I'm
didn't.
saying. Okay, and that's the other part,
How
right?
do you complain if you don't know who it is you're complaining on?
Because did you complain about employee interactions with you that day?
Not a complaint.
It is a complaint.
Not a complaint. All I did was I talked to the patient's advocate.
Jay, the complaint that's the complaint process in the VA. I see you're getting upset with me, and I do apologize, but you changed your face a little bit there. The complaint there you go. The complaint process, right, is that the complaint that we put in for those employees, that's internal. You won't hear anything about those names, is all I'm saying. There were corrective actions that occurred for those employees. You could write to see what those corrective actions were. I don't know if they'll release that information for you. And as far as you can ask the advocates if they did place a specific harassment complaint or something in the system for you.
Could you help me find out if there was any corrective actions?
You would know that if there was a tort claim, and that's what you would receive, some written correspondence or so.
So the way I understand it is that there's no way to make a tort claim until you have exhausted your administrative remedies.
That is not true, sir. If you feel
You have
like
to make it the way the law, the way I researched it, and the way I talked to an attorney said, you have to first make a complaint,
Mhm.
a formal complaint, okay, with the administration, not an informal complaint with a patient's advocate.
all of those complaints are formal. They all get numbers, they all get worked in the system. There's no informal complaint. Be it a word that's interacted, that's what that's what our patient advocates
Okay,
system is.
so let's go back to my other question. Is there any way I can find out whether there was any corrective action taken?
No, sir.
Really?
No, sir.
Um,
You can apply for FOIA requests for documents that are available to public in that regards, but any corrective actions are internal to this facility
all right.
are not subject to release.
All right, so let me ask you this. Is it the policy at the VA for staff to identify themselves when requested to by the public? Do you guys wear any kind of name tags?
Sure.
Why do you wear those?
So that you can identify us.
Right, so how come I can't identify the people that did that to me? They literally, this isn't about them saying, and that's why they did it, because they can remain anonymous when they go through that process. That apparatus protects them. But I'm talking about something completely different here.
That's against our policy. They're supposed to have their names proudly worn at all times.
Right, so if you sit there and ask somebody
Mm-hmm.
their name, because you want to complain on them, say they've done something, they've abused you
Mm-hmm.
and mistreated you, and so you say, what's your name? And they say, I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
how can you complain on them if you don't know their name?
I don't know, honestly.
That's my predicament.
Between the
This
time
is my
that
predicament that I'm in, and
So-
you're telling me that there's no way I'm going to get the names.
you can, so I understand this is many months after the fact that this has occurred.
Yeah, the time frame's running out for me
Right.
to do anything.
So the fact of it is though is that normally when I speak to people, and even if they don't have a name tag on, I can get their names. For whatever reason that day they were misinformed. You were recording them and you told something with the police having to come and correct them. Right? And so in that regards, I don't know. Hindsight being 2020, I can't help you with that, really. In the situation, how it occurred, how you described it to me,
And what was your name and your position here again?
on the door there, Nicholas Quinn.
Nicholas
Privacy
Quinn,
officer.
privacy officer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, that's the question that still remains unanswered is, if a person is mistreating a veteran,
Mm-hmm.
then you ask that person their name, and it's the policy for them to tell you the name, and they violate their policy and don't tell you your name.
They didn't think they were violating the policy with you recording them at the time. The police had to come and tell them you were okay in doing what you were doing.
Well, it sounds like you know a little bit more about this than what I've told you.
Just from what you told me.
Really?
Didn't you tell me the police had to get
Right,
there and tell
right.
them that?
So you don't know anything about this before?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, outside of being a VA employee and hearing about someone recording an interaction at a CBOC. Yeah.
You did hear something about that.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So I mean, if there was corrective action, because I'm afraid to go back there right now. Right now, I'm in a bad predicament with my health care. I'm like, I'm in a world of shit. Okay, my medications, my doctors, and all that, and everybody thinks I'm a bad guy.
Mhm.
All right, because I, exercise my First Amendment right. So I mean, I would probably just leave this alone if I knew that there was corrective action taken.
The only way you would know is to return back to the clinic and see how they treated you. That's the only way you would know.
Can you tell me whether I'm allowed to go back there?
If you don't have anything saying that you can't go to the clinic, you are able to. There's nothing telling you can't go back besides an attitude.
With my camera?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey,
That's the
man.
only way that we know that things have changed, right? We ask our veterans, we know that interactions aren't going to always be 100% the best interaction, right? We do understand, though, that after things have been discussed and things hopefully come to some kind of conclusion, we can carry on. We can go back and say, we can meet people. And honestly, with your camera, you're probably going to still see some of those staff that had negative interactions with you, right? And as you record them this next time, you will see.
Did you watch any of the video?
I didn't see any videos.
You gonna watch it?
No, sir.
All right.
It's none of my purview, honestly.
Well, it's entertaining though.
Don't say that on that record. It could be very well, but I would engage. I would honestly ask that you go back under the same situations and circumstances and see if your experience is any different.
Okay.
Right? And if it is, then you know definitively that something occurred. Things were said, things happened between supervisors and employees.
I was thinking about that when I just didn't. I wasn't ready. See, if the trespass hasn't been rescinded, that's what I want to know too. Has the trespass been rescinded? Because if I go there, they can just. I'll go to jail.
I understand.
You know what I
I'll
mean?
look that up, but I need some more information from you, and I need to get it in my system here. I got some stuff on
All right, I'm gonna close this up for now, guys. I just want to say that the
can open
privacy.
it
And
up.
I've forgotten your first name. I'm sorry.
Nicholas Quinn.
Nicholas Quinn's been pretty cool. Maybe I made a face he didn't like earlier, but I'm gonna. He's gotta get on this thing, so I'm gonna cut off a minute.